No.
It was fun.
Because at the end of the day, I was going to say, that at the end of the day, you're the one who knows whether or not you're, yeah.
I took my brother out for lunch today. We had some business to go and we was.
Yeah, it's called the regular town council meeting order, August 8th, 2024. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Everybody received a copy of their minutes in their, like I say, packet, but in email. Does anyone have any questions, changes, amendments, any of that sort of thing? And if you don't, we need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Isaac. Do I have a second? I'll second. Thank you, Clarence. We'll go around the room.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you all. Everyone got a copy of the treasurer's report. You'll notice that the savings account went up a little bit, like 40,000 or so, because we got some repayment or reimbursement from the police ARPA funds. And you'll notice that we basically spent $12,600, which will get reimbursement down the road too on that stuff as a grant. Yes, so the police have been getting quite a few grants lately, which is very good. So thank you, Chief, and thank you, Jeremy, or thank Jeremy for us. Any questions for Melinda on the loan balances or the account balances? That side. Bills for payment.
Before we start on that,
Oh, yes.
well, with one bills for
Okay.
payment, it wasn't spelled out on there. NNO is National Night Out, in case anybody had any questions on that. Michelle just put NNO for everything.
And then, okay. Oh, I see it now.
It's in multiple different lines down here.
The old NNO.
The old NNO.
Okay, anyone have any questions on any of the bills and our payment of those bills?
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Thank you, Sharon. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Go around the room.
Yes.
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 Yes. Clarence, thank you guys. Okay. Police report, Chief. What do you got for us today?
So I sent the email out yesterday. I don't know if everybody had a chance to read it, but the only thing that's on there that I'm asking for action on is Surgeon Hook wrote a grant for DCGS to replace the in-car computers. And the grant originally was written for about $28,000, but we were advised by ECC that we need to upgrade the processors in the computers in order to handle the latest versions of the software. So that increased the price of the project after we had already submitted the DCGS paperwork. So that's why the 25% matching fund works out to be a little more than 25 in order to make that work. So the town would end up paying $10,899.14 out of the basically $34,000 project. The exact number is for the project's $34,272.14. So because that matching fund is over the $5,000 allowance that we have, I need council approval to spend that money. We discussed it before. This, yeah, no, so it'll work out to be a little bit more. No, it'll be the 10,899.14. So by asking for approval from the council to agree to pay the $10,899.14 as matching funds to pay for the rest of the project replacement.
And we're getting computers at 28% of their value. It's hard not to,
Yeah, it was just one of those unfortunate things we figured out after the fact that we needed to make a change in the specifications. It was too late to change it all.
But that only made like a couple $1,000 difference anyway.
Yeah.
Like $2,000, $20,000.
It worked out to be like $2,000 repairs like $2,000 difference is where the difference would go.
Okay. And this takes care of the computers, we've talked about these computers for a little while.
Yeah, so based on the typical replacement schedule for mobile computers and laptops, it's like 4 to 8 years. So you can plan like 5-year replacement.
Yeah.
And these were purchased new in 2019. So they're at that 5-year place. And if you talk to Sergeant Hook, he'll tell you that we have plenty of problems with them. So it's time for them to be replaced.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the $10,899.14 expenditure?
I make a motion to approve the $10,419.
$899.14.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's what I heard.
The mayor always remembers to.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Okay, around the room.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
And why don't you, for more of my knowledge, tell us a little bit about the flock cameras.
So the
benefits.
flock cameras are a license plate reading camera that basically will capture the license plate of the vehicle and a photo of the vehicle. It does not capture the driver. They're aimed at catching the license plate typically from the rear of the vehicle. For privacy reasons, they typically don't target the front of the car. The data is for a set of time that the Virginia General Assembly said, so that as far as privacy goes, it's only kept for a certain amount of time. But what's good about it is it's connected into the VISA and NCIC computer, NCIC more specifically, which is the National Crime Information computer. And so a missing person, a stolen car, Amber Alert for an abducted child, Silver Alert for an elderly person in danger, all those things are in the NCIC system. The flock camera sees the license plate and it compares it against all those current lists. And if it hits it, it notifies dispatch. So dispatch would say, be advised, you have a flock camera on Timberville, is indicated, license plate such and such, it's associated with a missing child from Herndon, Virginia. So they have them in, they have quite a few of them in Harrisonburg. I don't remember the number, but it's somewhere around a dozen or so. Bridgewater has several, and they've recovered, I don't have the number in front of me, but numerous stolen vehicles. Harrisburg's had cars that were stolen in the city, and then they passed a flock camera within an hour of it being reported stolen. It's already in the system. They recovered the car before they ever had a chance to leave the city with it, essentially. So the grant is through the HEAP program, which is a Virginia State Police program to reduce auto theft. And so the HEAP program will pay $12,500 towards the installation of 4 cameras, and the project costs $12,600. So it'll cost us $100 out of pocket. The locations we're looking at now are down near the detail shop on Timber Way. So that will catch the 2 lanes of traffic coming northbound into town, around New Market Road, around Holtzman's 7-Eleven. So you catch that traffic right there. Then around Paul Mosey's shop, and then the entrance exit to Walmart going on to American Legion. And those are places that we're trying to hit high probabilities of getting people coming into or leaving town. You think of somebody that abducted a child in town, you want the cameras to be in places where you're going to get them leaving, but also if they're coming into town with a stolen car or an Amber Alert or that kind of thing, you get them at the edge of town coming in. The problem is that they'll only read over a certain width. So if you go further out in town where there's, say, in front of Walmart and the ABC store, for example, there's like 5 lanes there. So you put a camera there, it can't capture everybody. Everybody's splitting up between the lanes. So you want it to be relatively narrow. And the other problem is that VDOT right-of-ways are an issue. So we can't just go put a pole in the ground in the VDOT right-of-way and put a camera on it, because VDOT apparently frowns on that, and they have some concerns about the legislature's opinion about cameras and some other things. But we can put it on private property. So that's why we're looking at the places that I mentioned, they're private property locations that we can put cameras. So I made sure we started looking at, discussed this, it was in the 5-year plan, we discussed in the police committee and everything, and it's an opportunity that came up. Bridgewater did the heat grant to get started, and we made sure to get, it's a 1-year contract. So we'll have the option to see how it works for a year, or reapply for the heat grant next year, because you never know when state funding will run out. So we made sure, at least starting, to not get into a 3-year contract where we do, could only guarantee funding for a year. So if it works out, we'll continue with heat, and if the heat money runs out, and it's worth it, we'll come to you folks and ask for financing if we have to. But for now, it's going to cost the town $100.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Chief. Anything else?
What's the update on the camera at the school sites?
So that's pretty much dead in the water, unfortunately. So the companies that we were talking with said that once, I guess this is a good thing, once they looked at the data of the vehicles in front of the school, there's not enough speeding there in front of the school for it to be financially worth them putting cameras in.
Good.
So, yeah, that's a double-edged sword. I mean, the point of putting them in is to make sure to reduce the speeding problem, and the company said you don't have enough of a speeding problem with it.
Good, thank you.
And now there's some kind of legal thing going on about it too, is there not?
Primarily, it has to do with how they post things. So if you go through the work zone in Harrisonburg and look, they've redone signage, and their warning signs are further away from the construction zone. So the complaints about that there were probably some details about signage and warnings that were a problem, and some human error in how the tickets were being done. But it's not something that I expect their program to go away. It just kind of finds it. We did do National Night Out,
Yes.
which was very successful.
Yes.
Front office did a lot of work. We had some great stuff. It was a lot of fun. I felt like we had a lot of people out there, and it was very successful. Steady people for 2 hours.
All your officers were there, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you all. Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. AC, you want to do the first public hearing?
Sure, let's go ahead and get that.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and tell us, we're here, we're going to have a public hearing every year for the next couple of years on the budget amendment, because our ARPA funds aren't truly in the budget now, and as we spend it, we have to have a revised budget. And why don't you say what this year's revision to the budget, what are, I guess it was this year's, it shows the net, the one last ended.
Yeah, it was the 2023-2024 fiscal year. I sent out the fund allocation to the council, but we're looking at making an amendment of $158,641.76 over the entire budget. Take $44,480.17 out of that. That goes towards water, and the rest of it was split up in the general fund between the true general, police, and park funds. It was properly advertised. We have to have a public hearing to make this amendment, so the hearing is properly advertised. Is required under the Code of Virginia. And let's see if I have. So the original adopted budget was 2.583 million, and the amended budget will be 2.742 million.
Awesome. Any questions before I open up the public comment? Okay. Open up the public comment. Anybody have a question while we're having a budget amendment or anything about the additional monies? It's all the monies that were coming out of the ARPA fund and the 5 January 6th. Anyone have any questions? Going once, going twice. Public comments closed. Okay, so we have to approve.
Yeah.
We gotta
I
put that down.
have to adopt the amended budget. Yes.
Okay, so I need a motion to adopt the amended FY24 budget.
I make a motion to adopt the amended fiscal year 24, 25,
23, 24.
24. Oh, so close. As proposed, there we go.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Isaac. Any other further discussion? Okay. Isaac?
Yes.
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 You almost had it, Sarah.
It was so close. I'll get it one day.
Okay. Hey, Steve, let's go back to Public Works, and then we'll go to the next public hearing.
I'll try to go through this as quick as I can. The Spar Line Water Line project, the construction crew is wrapped up and is now on site. The last water test has been submitted, and as soon as we receive a positive result, or a negative result, but a positive outcome from that, the line will be active in the system. A few other, there's still some things to do. That's the bulk part of the construction crew that we contracted with. So it actually went really, really fast. And so far, no major issues. Very little rock was encountered. I think last I heard, it was about a third, and that was all on the west side of the creek. And had to do some modifications, a few modifications on where they actually connected with the main line and Main Street, simply because of the way things were done years and years ago when the lines were put in. There's kind of I don't know what you call it, it's a slurry, it's a flowable fill is what Carl called it. Stuff acts like concrete once it's in there. And when we've had the water leaks in the past, it was jackhammering through all of that stuff. So kind of made that angle a little bit greater to avoid a lot of that, having to deal with a lot of that. So,
Somebody basically poured 8 foot of concrete under the street. It's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Or it's supposed to be softer, and that's, so anywhere along there, it'll never settle, which it's hard to get down to it.
their soft stuff from the 60s was much harder than our hard stuff nowadays. So. Chris, do you have any comments on that project? Or?
No, not really. It went very well. There was a few little hiccups along the way, but we addressed those pretty quickly. So, yeah, nothing. Still some work to do. Our crew has several hookups to make it and eliminate some lines and stuff like that. But just, we'll get to it when we get to it. So hopefully Monday it'll be in service and hopefully the test will be back by Monday and we'll be able to make it all live and get it over and running. So.
Awesome.
On the Macaulay Drive sidewalk project, the bids came in, VDOT, report last month, that VDOT had put it out for bids. The bids came in higher than anticipated, so the town's portion will be $17,050 more than our original portion, which was $77,189. Fortunately, last year council took action and allocated funds to anticipating that it would come in as more, so we're covered, the money's already in the account. And so whenever they send us the invoice or whenever they request payment for that, it's there and it's good to go. So
And I think that's the last Monday in the line, right?
Yep.
The money's in the
Close
line.
it out, yep.
And honestly, the council talked about allocating more money to it, but we had money left in the loan because we saved money, thanks to Chris's crew, on the police building. So there was money already there. So even though we allocated it, they're not pulling out of savings, they're pulling out of account we had saved money on to pay for it anyway. So good news.
It drew interest as well.
It drew interest as well, yes.
I think I sent out that the property at 157 North Main Street that the town had to have demolished went up for sale and was sold for $10,100. I didn't talk to Quentin about this before, but do you want to kind of give them an idea of what the next step is? I know there was a submittal to the court for court approval or something to that effect.
Yeah, actually, the previous order had given us the authority to go ahead and sell it. So I'm working with the individual that was the winning bidder. Actually, one of the guys was here
Nice
today.
to see you.
Wayne Gilner bought it. So that'll close, sometime this month, probably. And then we'll have to go back to the court and show that we did everything appropriately so that the lien is officially removed from the property, but it'll still be attached to that business. But then he'll own it free and clear of any liens.
We received updated plans for the housing development behind the Food Line Shopping Center. I've got a copy here that you'll look at after the meeting. I'll send them out too. Got those just this week. But and these aren't the best ones to look at. That's where we made a comment about adjusting the streets and making some exceptions and stuff, which actually makes it work really well. Nice sidewalk system around all of it. And all along, it looks like they're showing sidewalk all along American Legion Drive, the entire length of that development. So it'll go all the way down to the park, and it'll go up to Food Line Shopping Center. So it makes it very walkable development too. So that one's still proceeding. And then I put at everyone's spot an updated ARPA project list. Some of the items I changed it around from the way they were ordered, and I put all the ones that we've completed so far are at the beginning of the list. I apologize for the way it printed off. I didn't have the setting right, so it printed on the short edge. But I was going to reprint it through that in the paper. So, I also added in at the very end on the last page under total ARPA funding, I also added a new line for interest accrued since we've received our ARPA allocation, because that's what we had talked about doing, was using that. That was one of the things we never included before, was the interest that we had drawn on that was ARPA. And so that was where we came up with adding those additional projects. And so that you can see the remainder at the very bottom that's still unallocated, which is a little bit of a cushion. But I was talking to Chris before the meeting where we kind of go through it and look at some of those sewer projects and maybe some of the other things and make sure that we're still good to go on those. That great big huge section on page 3 of Spar Mine water line, which we'll be able to mark that as green here pretty soon and get over that one. That was, as the mayor had said many times before, that's the one that we were really waiting to get done, so we can kind of see our position financially. What do we have left?
We have to figure out, like we were looking at the other day, our engineering part went over a little bit because we got into some legal discussions and some money for easements and things that went over, and our digging costs, our construction costs is under.
Our rock use, was under.
We had like, I don't know what it was, 400 cubic yards of rock, and we did 150 or something like that, so.
And we have Carl, our engineer, is talking to the contractor now because there's, we have word from VDOT that everything is good to go, that we're not going to have to do any kind of milling and overlay out from the cut where we have that. Apparently the patches that were done are sufficient, which was really kind of surprising. That's very surprising.
Yeah.
So we'll see how much that affects the contract cost too.
Okay. No, it's awesome. It's good to, we've definitely done a good job doing the window tracking every single thing.
We will be so happy when it's done.
Take that spreadsheet off your list. Okay, anything else?
That's all that I have on Public Works.
Okay.
Chris, thank you and all of the men for the work you've done on the bathrooms over at the park. They look nice.
Over here? This part?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, that looks wonderful,
Yeah.
but this,
That's a
and
contract.
I know you all have done a lot of work over there too.
Well, I don't want to take credit for it because most of that work there's been a contractor doing.
Yeah, but you all have done.
You've been supervised.
They oversee
That's
everything,
right.
and they make sure everything's done.
They have worked, yes.
Okay, now,
Thank you.
our next public hearing is on the land development regulations. You don't have that list, Stacy, or this isn't on my phone?
We can print it out quick.
You sent it
I'd sent it out in your email and stuff a while ago.
July 23rd.
Now, do I refresh my memory? Do I have to have Kevin open up the public, his planning commission meeting and go through it that way too? Does he have to open up a joint planning commission and?
Did you all make a recommendation to these already?
No.
Planning commission didn't?
Planning Commission sent these to the council, but they haven't had a public hearing to.
They haven't had a public hearing yet about it. Then yes.
So Kevin, you need to open up your planning commission meeting with you two. And then I'll open up a joint thing, so go ahead and do your thing.
Okay, I'd like to hereby open up this session of the planning commission.
And then if there are any comments you need to make before the public comment, anything you need to say in reference to these You don't have to,
I don't have any comment, do you?
okay? So
I
I
have
will,
one copies of these. I can print
I
them
got
off.
one.
I can print them off real quick. Does anybody need copies?
okay,
Or good?
I do.
Okay.
okay. So I'd like to open up the joint Timberville Town Council and Planning Commission and open it up for public comment. If anyone would like to, you want to go over this first? You open up public comment? Okay,
Yeah, I think
let's do that
it should be.
first. Yeah, go through what it is. and I'll-
They'll be coming in a minute, Melinda.
It's coming.
All right, so we have, I'm just going to run through my list real quick. First one is on page 3-5 of the LDRs, 302.34 to amend to read semi-trailers used as storage, shipping containers, and portable toilets. And that will, and that goes under the temporary building section in the definitions. Page 3-19 is to remove private from the definition, and that's in regards to streets. We've had discussions about that for quite some time now. The commission has really talked about that fairly in depth because of wanting everything to be in the VDOT system, as we mentioned in a previous meeting, or earlier meeting. 3-21 is shipping containers. Add shipping containers are not permitted as an accessory use.
And then you have to renumber it. That's one that says 209.
Oh, yeah, and so, yeah, in case anyone was confused on that, I should have taken that out and just explained it. But it says on that list, it says should be .209. Apparently last time I redid the LDRs, when we did the last changes, the numbering got messed up. And so we don't need approval on that. That's a clerical thing that we corrected without having to advertise. But that's going to be the new number for that one, will be 302.209. And I'll adjust all of the other numbering on those definitions to make sure that they are in the right order. 37, let's see.
Shipping containers.
3-17, yeah, that's adding a definition of a shipping container so that we can have it clearly defined. Page 6-22.
Parking garage and parking lot.
Is, right, that's for, to change it from a permitted use to a conditional use. Gives a little bit more purview of the town to see what the intent is going to be for that. It may also help us address some issues we've had with tractor trailer parking. 6-27 is add section 607.03-23 for open air retail facilities. That is a use. We didn't have anything to really address that at this point. Page 7-10 is to amend 704 to read the planning commission shall have approval authority for home occupations. Currently, it's a joint approval authority between myself and the planning commission. We felt it would be better to have it as just the planning commission to have that authority. I believe 718 and 721 are both in regards to private streets, to remove those, the wording for that. And then 708.03 on page 7-25 is to remove a lot, just clean up that townhouse section that talks about a 34-foot minimum with access easement. Again, it goes into, kind of gets into that whole private street discussion. Let's see. 909-6.
Because the effect is you're not allowing private streets in town subdivisions.
Development's right, exactly. Correct. Yeah, and 9-6 is the same thing. And then 10-1 is to change zoning permit fee minimums from $20 to $35. We looked at all neighboring towns throughout the county, towns in neighboring counties. It just seemed that was a much more standard practice $20 doesn't cover the time that goes into it for staff to do review and the entire process of issuing zoning permit. It doesn't change the fact that if you have something that is much more expensive, once it gets over $20,000, it'll still go up by that $1,000 per, or $1 per thousand for the permit fee. We're adding in, on page 10-1, adding a section that will make it the responsibility of the applicant to pay the advertising costs for anything that requires a public hearing. Again, that's one that we often are losing money, that the town has to absorb the cost on just because that cost of advertising is so expensive anymore. We are required to advertise in the newspaper. Very antiquated practice, in my opinion, that I've tried to get changed with no success. But at least we'll put the responsibility on the applicant for that cost. And then on appendix, the page for the appendix, remove the private streets from that since it won't be relevant anywhere else in the land development regulations. And there's probably lots of others that we didn't pick up on because as I always say, it's a living document, it changes, and there's always something new that pops up, which is why we always have these things throughout the years to update the LDRs and make those changes.
I think the planning commission's doing a great job, you're doing a great job getting it corrected, and I appreciate it, guys. Okay, we'll open up the public comment. Anybody have any public comment about the changes to the land development regulations? Going once, going twice, then public comments closed. So this is the time I turn to Kevin and said, do you all need any time to discuss, or do you have a recommendation?
I have recommendations that we go ahead and have the council to approve the changes as amended.
Okay. Now I can go ahead and have the council vote. Okay, I need a motion from the council.
I make a motion to approve the amendments to our current LDRs.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Sharon. Any further discussion? Okay, go around.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, you can close your meeting. Is that right?
I'd like to close the session of the joint planning commission and town council meeting.
Okay. And we're back into the regular council session. I think that was close enough.
Flawless.
Right. Business industry, Casey.
So, several things to report on this. Strickler Carpet has moved from their Timberville location, in case anybody wasn't aware of that. So there is a vacancy over in the shopping center that I would expect to be filled probably rather rapidly. Those spaces don't seem to stay open very long. So, in case anyone is wondering, I had a question about it already this evening, but we have received the plan set for the Tractor Supply Company. So it is still coming, in case anyone asked you. Yes, it is still in the works. So we're going to start the process of reviewing that. I gave Chris and gave Public Works Department one of the copies of the plan, and I got the other one. So we'll start going over those and making comments. They did say that they were going to slow the project down, which is why we haven't seen anything happen yet. And they are talking about starting construction in spring of next year. They didn't want to start construction in the middle of the winter. So. And the final thing I have under business and industry is I finally made it down and stopped at Mr. Garcia's to talk to them. And they are supposed to, their plan is that they're supposed to open sometime in September. So it keeps getting pushed back. See,
I'm looking forward to it.
They have cleaned up a lot of the stuff that was in between the two buildings. So, and it looked like they were doing some maybe finishing work in there. It looked like they were doing some drywall and things like that when I was down there. So, that's positive.
Awesome. Anything else?
That's all that I have on business and industry.
Okay. Parks and Rec. Still waiting on our bathroom. It's getting closer and closer. Right? That's it. It looks like they got the plumbing there. They just need to get the ceiling fixed, the doors on, and the plumbing installed. And your part's done already, right?
Yeah, you looked at me waiting on me.
Okay.
And we do have Our third and final event in our summer music concert series will be held this Friday from 6 to 9 at the American Legion Park. Music will begin at 7 o'clock and will be performed by The Invasion, which is a cover 60s British rock band. I've listened to some of their clips online, and it's my type of music too, but they sound pretty good. They sound really good.
It looks like the rain will be done by then.
Yeah, it looks like maybe the rain will tail off the majority of it by midday on Friday, tomorrow, and be done by 4 or 5 o'clock, so.
Is it going to be a food truck there?
Yeah, there will be food there, and it's from Flocks and Beyond. It's FLOCKS, and it stands for Further Love of Chicken Salad. I think it's something to that effect, but they do chicken salad sandwiches. I looked them up online. They look really good. It's kind of fancy chicken salad sandwiches. And then they'll have some, they're not going to have their full menu. They're a catering company too, but they are bringing some other stuff along. I'm not exactly sure if it's to say to line that up. So a little different fare than what you normally expect from some of the things that we have, but should be good. So tell everybody about it and come to our event instead of Broken Bear.
Yeah.
Much harder than there. Okay.
We're hoping for a lot of rain that people won't actually be able to get back to Berkeley tomorrow.
That's wrong. Okay, finance. We've had enough talk of finance lately, right? We're good?
The only thing, the auditors will be here the week of August the 26th.
That's fine.
And I also need your council's disclosure statements back if you haven't turned that in by the 19th.
Do you have, I think you mentioned that you have last year, so I can just because nothing has changed there.
Okay.
Yeah, we can pull it. Yeah, we can pull it out.
I started to fill it out. I had it. I was like, and I got immediately like, oh gosh, I don't remember.
You have to use last year's. That's the way to do it.
That's fine.
Okay, personnel. We have BZA reappointments of Kevin, right? No. Planning commission is Kevin.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say BZA, I should say EDA. I had that listed.
Okay, excuse me. EDA. And that's Randy.
EDA is Randy, and I did hear back from Randy. Randy said he was willing to serve another term.
And the planning commission is reappointment of Kevin.
Yes, that's correct.
Can we do that all in one lump, or we need a? That's determined.
You've done this longer than I have.
Do it independently?
Do it.
Okay. Anytime you hesitate, I know you do it independently. Okay, so we need to reappoint Randy Andes to the EDA.
I make a motion to reappoint Randy Andes to the EDA.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Go in the room.
Yes.
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 Now I need a motion to appoint Kevin Farmer back to the planning commission.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Kevin Farmer to the Planning Commission.
Second?
Second.
Okay, go around the room.
Yes.
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 Good deal. Congratulations. Now you'll be on the ballot this year too, so we may have to put someone else on down the road also. Okay, and as far as the ballot goes, we have 2 people on the ballot and 1 open slot for when the elections happen, right? Okay. Plains District Memorial Museum. What you got, Sharon?
Heritage Days will be September 22nd, which is on a Sunday from 1 till 4. And the historian Greg Owens will be speaking on the World War II German labor camp in Timberville. The yard sale will be August 30th and 31st, and our author and art sale will be November 3rd at the museum.
Okay, thank you. You got something for us, Beth?
Yeah, I have a whole handful this time.
Good.
It might not be good.
Looks like you even have pictures.
Yeah. I think after the meeting last month, Sarah and I were talking about, and you never heard about the $1,000 bill that was in the wall of the school.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little article here. Can I read it quick?
Go for it.
Won't take long.
Oh, we got time.
Yeah, I should take some glasses. I work at helping tear down the old Timberville school, found a $1,000 bill in it first, which may have been hidden in the wall since 1914. some of these had some spaces in, I had to fill them in myself. I think I guessed right. Judas Crawford, whose Mount Solon company is demolishing the school, said Wednesday that his brother found the purse and a $1,000 bill. However, Crawford was reluctant to give the details of the discovery. He said his brother found the bill dated around 1914 and purse, which was stashed inside a wall of the school. The purse may have been hidden when the school was built, Crawford continued. There was no identification in the purse, Crawford added. He said his brother, whom he would not name, was in Southeast Virginia and unavailable for comment. Crawford added that his brother turned the bill over to an attorney, but he would not name the attorney. Crawford said about 15 people had come to the school site asking questions about the money, but that no one had made an apparent legitimate claim to the cash. He lamented his brother's inability to keep a secret. He goes and tells everyone, and now it's all over town. When I find something, I don't tell anyone. That's a newspaper article. And I have a picture here of Sarah's house, a part of it that was taken probably 100 years ago. That's for you. Here's a couple others.
Totally see my.
Friday, February 9th, 1912. The literary society debate was the poultry products of the United States are more important use and can be less easily dispensed with than dairy products. The date was decided in favor of the affirmative side. On the afternoon of February 9th, 1912, a number of boys were ice skating below the bridge, and Mr. Charles Trumbo fell in when the ice broke. After several unsuccessful attempts, my father pulled him out. February 23rd, 1912. The Literary Society debate was, iron is of more important use to mankind than wood. It was a split decision, 2 for the negative side and 1 for the affirmative side. So I guess they thought wood was more important than, which I believe I would agree with that.
I don't know about that.
Except for the railroads. Anyway, well, that'd be a good debate if you was getting somewhere. Sunday, February 2nd, 1936. About 150 people skating above the cold storage dam. So, oh, that's one of the fishing spots. January 19th, 1924. The movie playing in Timberville was When Knighthood Was in Flower. It consisted of 12 reels, and it was good. These came from the diaries, of course. Thursday, January 17th, 1924. The debate was held at Timberville. The presidents of the United States should be elected by popular vote. It was decided in favor of the negative side. So I guess they decided the way we're doing it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you, yeah.
And then we had a pretty successful reunion, I thought. And the only figures I could get, and people told me it was somewhere between 105 and 115. Of course, it's been 2 years since we had the last reunion, so you lose quite a few people in between. And appreciate y'all helping to sponsor that down there.
There were a lot of people there.
But I think everybody had a good time and all. It was pretty successful, I'd say. Now, we made the greatest discovery for the town of Timberville for 100 years. I'm stretching a little bit. So we talked before about Gordon. And down at Gordon's garage. And he had a boiler for his heat in the main building, which I think that building was built, 1932. Okay. And we talked before about he was making repairs on his heating system. He turned off a couple of valves and made his repairs. So he fired the thing back up and he forgot to turn the valves back on and it exploded. I think it hurt him pretty bad. Okay. And anyway, they were down there digging. We talked about this for a long time. This is a great discovery, in my opinion. And when they were down there digging, putting the spar mine water system in, we found it. Nobody's seen that for, well, the building that they ran the heat over to.
That's a boiler? What is that? Line. Oh, that's the line.
Yeah, this the one with the patients around, y'all look at it. But anyway, the building is running the heat over to, I got a date on that, I think 1949. Okay. So we can kind of round that off to 1950 when he ran the heat from his main building underneath the road over to his other building, because I think it's stated in one article that he got tired of being cold. But anyway,
So
So Chris find that, or they, the other guys find
Chris,
that?
have you seen these yet? You have, oh, okay.
I wasn't there that
Well,
day.
this might be kind of interesting for you then, but you don't pass it around where you want,
Yeah.
but there's a, I'm guessing a 2-inch line on this side and a 2-inch line on that side, sewer line, and from his boiler in one building, it would heat the water and pass under the road to go through radiators in the other building, and the other line would return it back and go through the boiler again. And I think that's gonna be accurate, I think, but nobody's seen that for 75 years, and that's all I've got.
Okay, well, thank you. Now, did you just happen to be there to see that, or did you get a call?
What?
Did you just happen to be there to see that?
Oh, no, I've been watching every time I go through town, I watch it over there.
Okay.
Oh, well, I thought you did something that day. Yeah, we had, so I've had time to read
Anytime I cross the place,
Okay, thank you.
and he knows.
Okay, council, does the council have any other business to bring forth at this time? Anybody? Okay, we open up to public comment. Do we have any public comment today? We've got a lot of public comment, so we're good. No public comment, and meeting's adjourned. Thank you all, everybody.